Hey guys, and welcome to our review for Roma, directed by Alfonso Cuarón, starring Yalitza Aparicio and Marina de Tavira.
Nice.
Sounded nice.
My name is Scott Ellis. I'm joined here by Victoria Hulse.
Hi.
And Steph Sogas.
Hi.
So Roma, again, directed by Alfonso Cuarón, is sort of a semi-autobiographical film set in the 1970s about this family. I'll leave it at that, in Mexico City. Black and white in Spanish. His family? Yeah, like I said, semi-autobiographical,
yeah, right, okay.
But I don't think he is like a character per se. Like I don't
That's
think
what
there's
I was
a
trying to
direct.
figure out.
There isn't a direct character for him. I think he tried to keep it a bit more ambiguous there.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely it's sort of centered around his like housemaid, I guess. But yeah, Victoria, let's start with you. What did you think of Roma overall? It's getting a lot of buzz. It's getting a lot of Best Picture, buzz right now. What did you think of it?
I really liked it. I thought it was really good, and I thought it was really well done. And like, it was only in black and white. It was really interesting.
You don't see that too often these days.
No, and I thought it helped a lot with like the plot and like moving things forward and like keeping you focused on like what you're watching.
Right.
I really enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Steph, what did you think of Roma?
I thought it was very well done.
But
did not enjoy watching it at all. It was one of those movies where I kept like subtly checking my watch.
I know you were.
To try
I was
and
like,
figure out like how long have I been sitting here for? And because we saw it at TIFF, we luckily got some stargazing in, which is really great.
We did. Who did we see? Who was sitting next to us?
So we saw Joel Edgerton, who was sitting like one seat away from Michelle Rodriguez. I was freaking out because that's Letty from Fast and Furious. And like, she has a great laugh, and she's friggin' gorgeous. So that was really cool. And also, Michael Shannon was sitting in the row in front of them. Mm-hmm. So that made the entire Roma viewing completely worth it.
You were right on the aisle, right? So
yeah.
you were
I was
in
the
close
closest
proximity
to them. Like, I don't know. Maybe Joel and I were like separated, like probably me to Scott.
There was a connection.
Exciting.
There's a connection, is what you're saying.
But I was also very stressed because I was eating popcorn. And I'm like, I don't know if I was in Joel's like line of view. Not that he's going to be looking at me, but you can kind of see like your peripheral vision what people are doing.
Right.
And I'm like, please do not like drop popcorn on myself. Like, is he going to see me checking my watch and think I'm like a rude moviegoer? So that like was a little stressful, but very, very exciting. But back to Roma. Didn't enjoy it. Very well done. I can understand.
What was it about it that didn't grab you? Was it the Spanish? Was it the black and white? Was it there wasn't a character that you could,
There was definitely not a character I could connect with. No.
Connect with?
Not at all. Not a character I even wanted to try.
There's no
Connect.
Sebastian Stan.
There was no Sebastian. Okay.
Not even one of the kids.
Maybe like the youngest who kept talking about when he was like older.
That was cute.
It was super cute. He was super cute, but no, there was no Sebastian Stan. There was no Chris Evans. I like my movies to have really pretty people in them. This one didn't have really pretty leads. But I think it was just sort of a slow movie. I'm sorry.
It's a slow burn.
It was slow. There was stuff going on, but it just wasn't the kind of stuff I want going on in a movie.
Right. It's not what you're used to.
Not at all. I don't see movies like this. This was
it's a change of pace.
Like, I'm happy I saw it.
Good. I'm glad.
I am happy, and especially like I understand why it's getting buzz. There are some great choices the director made. I also enjoyed that it was black and white. I didn't mind that it was subtitled, and I hadn't seen a subtitled movie since university. First year.
Oh my gosh.
So I did enjoy that stuff. I thought all the performances were really great. It just wasn't something that grabbed me where I'm like, I want to watch it again.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'll jump in. I think it was fantastic. I thought it was so good. I just think that it's such an odd movie.
Yeah.
Nowadays you don't see it too often, especially, the way that Alfonso Cuarón, we got a Q&A, he was there at the showing, as well as the actresses as well and some producers. But he sort of described in the Q&A that the way the sort of writing process was, like he was the only one that had the script. So everyone sort of went into it not really knowing what was going on scene to scene, and it was shot in chronological order as well. And I thought the most interesting thing was that he would tell each individual actor, actress what they were doing, what they were thinking in that scene.
But all separate.
But separate. So not everyone knew what the next person was going to say, and they had to sort of react to that, off the cuff. And I thought that was just a really cool way of shooting a film. And I just thought the way that sort of the scenes were constructed, just from his own memory, I thought that was interesting. Yeah. And how he's just trying to basically remember what happened in his childhood. Yeah. And he sort of described it as the sort of 2 formative moments, which we can talk about that in spoilers, I guess. Yeah. But I thought that was sort of an interesting starting point for the film. But the performances were great. I mean, the 2 leading actresses that I mentioned are getting a lot of buzz, actually, for lead actress and supporting actress, like Oscar buzz, which I think is great. Yeah. It's pretty rare, like you don't see it too often where you have a film that would be, in the best foreign feature category, but yet is also in a lot of these other categories as well, for best actress and supporting.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of rare. Like usually it's like they get a little pat, kind of like, you made it to the best foreign feature category, but this movie is sort of, at least in those categories, getting a lot of traction there. Visually, I really love the opening shot as well. What do you think of that? That's sort of slow.
Water?
I was like, what am I?
I loved it. I loved it
I
so
was
much.
so confused.
You're like, what is this?
Watching. I'm like, oh, this is how it begins.
Right.
This is why I don't watch these kinds of movies.
Right.
There's a lot of water. Basically, if you haven't seen Roma, it's just, what was she doing? Like hosing down the garage.
Yeah, she was like,
and, like
cleaning it.
Using
and then,
a broom and cleaning it.
Cleaning up that dog
soapy
crap.
water.
like throwing the bucket of water down the path.
And you just watch that for it felt like 5 minutes.
But you're just
It was the
watching
credits.
3.
It was during the opening credits, though.
Right,
but you're just watching the water. You're not seeing what she's doing. You can just hear things happening.
I liked the sounds. Like, I felt it was very calming.
And I think the black and white really helps that. For you to, hear everything and, focus on what you're hearing instead of, the colors and,
some movies, I think of, Baz Luhrmann movies or something, which is, Great Gatsby or, the one, the, Romeo and Juliet movie he did.
I love that movie so much.
But those movies are the opposite in the sense of, it's all this color, right? That's where your eyes just kind of whoa, this is crazy, right? Yeah. But when you go black and white, you sort of have to focus on everything else, like the sounds and obviously visually what's going on in the sort of the frame instead of just, there's all these colors. It's how it's composed.
You're more focused.
Right.
Well, I also thought it was really interesting because one of the producers was talking about how when they were picking things out like clothing and their sets and stuff, they had to show the director pictures of everything in black and white so he could see how it would pop because everything looks different. And it was very interesting because even the house, you could see the texture and you could see the bubbles in the water, and so they definitely paid attention when making it, and it did make it a more interesting film for the hard work that they put into pulling all of those decisions together. It
was funny too. I'd like to see some behind the scenes of what it looked like in color.
Yeah.
Because they were saying that it probably wouldn't make any sense. Yeah. The way the colors, because you have no idea what those colors are in real life. But I thought that was funny. Yeah. Just to touch on again what was going on in as far as the composition. There's so many layers, and there's sort of I think someone asked a question about how you organize all that of what's going on in the frame. Because there'd be scenes where Cleo's walking through this along this muddy street, and some dude's getting shot out of a cannon in the background. Yeah, right. And there's just all this stuff going on in the frame, or she's sitting on the steps outside the theater, waiting. Yeah. And there's
there's so many people.
Yeah, there's these stalls, and there's all this stuff going on. I just thought the cinematography was just amazing in that sense. Just so much going on, and there were 3 specific moments which we kind of talked about right after we saw the movie. There was a protest, there was something that happened in a hospital, and then there was the beach scene at the end. Those 3 which were done in really long single take shots. I thought whenever, and then I guess there was a 4th one, kind of the fire. Yeah. That thing, kind of a more minor scene, but when they do these one takes, it's sort of the tension starts rising. Yeah. I thought those were really great.
Very tense.
But maybe we should give our ratings. Okay. And then we can talk more spoiler because I feel like there's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't say a lot.
Yeah.
Without giving the movie away.
I'm gonna say it's a heavy 4 for me. I thought it was really good. Victoria?
A heavy 4.
Heavy 4 as well.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah. Steph?
It's so
watching you.
hard for me to say because I understand it's good. There were so many good things about it, but just my enjoyability level just brought it down.
That's
like,
okay.
I think
That's
I understand why they're giving it heavy 4s. For me, because I didn't really enjoy it, it's a heavy 3. Because I understand
way
it's
higher
good,
than I thought you were going to do.
But I didn't enjoy it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, fair warning, if you haven't seen Roma, I'm trying to think, is it coming out in November on Netflix?
I don't know why.
I'm forgetting it's Netflix.
This is a Netflix film. You know what's
Netflix
funny?
is like pushing it. They're like, watch it.
They want an Oscar.
Yeah.
I thought it's just funny how even the opening credits where it shows the production companies. Normally, I saw in a couple other Netflix movies at TIFF, and you know the Netflix opening thing is like this red swoosh, like paint, kind of paintbrush swoosh thing.
They didn't have
and they
the
did it
color.
in black and white.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was like, what is this? Oh, it's Netflix.
Yeah.
I couldn't even understand.
Right.
That's funny. But yeah, it's coming out sometime later this year on Netflix. I want to say it's October, November, or something like that.
It makes sense for the Oscar push and everything.
But fair warning, if you haven't seen it, we are going to be discussing some spoilers. So if you don't want to know what happens, then go in clean. But you've been warned. Yes. So should we start with just those scenes?
Yeah.
So the first one, I guess, was like the protest, I think? The whole protest sequence?
Yeah, that does.
Yes. No, was the fire?
Or was it the fire? We can start with the fire.
The fire does come before the protest because she's
yeah.
Right.
She's still pregnant.
Well, I
she's
guess
like fresh.
Just to preface that, I guess I can mention what Cuarón's sort of catalyst for making this film was the fact that his housemaid, is that what she is?
Yeah, she's like a
live-in
maid.
She's also kind of like, she's
nanny.
definitely like
she's like a nanny.
Yeah. She does a lot.
Yeah.
So it was more, I mean, the movie was dedicated to his real life nanny, I guess.
Which is very sweet.
But it was more about this thing that happened in the same year in his life, which was, I guess she got pregnant, right? And there was a whole thing that happened there. And at the same time, his parents got divorced or separated in the same year.
Their marriage basically.
And so you sort of see these two things sort of happening at the same time. And, you know, the like mother is sort of like leaning on Cleo as well for like support, and they're kind of like supporting each other, which is great. But the fire was an interesting sequence. I don't know if it was kind of odd how the guy was like singing during it.
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I didn't know what was happening there.
But it was pretty crazy. I mean, if you think about it, like they lit a forest on fire.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
I'm like, I know they would have had like a whole fire crew around, but it still felt
like one take. It was so long, and they're just
the
like
fire was like growing. Trees were trees on fire were falling down.
And like little kids were there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, none of this is okay.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Maybe uncomfortable.
I think my favorite scene.
I think that's what it's supposed to do, though.
A lot of that movie made me uncomfortable.
Definitely. One scene that honestly, like, tears didn't fall from my eyes, but they were. Yeah. They were there.
They were brimming. They were brimming.
Like they were on my eyelids. Okay. Was the hospital scene where Cleo, I guess the sort of two sequences almost led into that. So the protest and what happened there sort of led into her getting her contractions, her water breaks, and they try and rush her to the hospital. I'm like, honestly, I thought she was going to give birth in the car.
I thought so too.
Which would have been
nuts.
That
was this really long take too, in like this tunnel, and they just pan over, and you can see people like looking into their car, and then you see them in the back seat, and you're like, well, this is happening here.
Yeah, which would have been nuts.
Yeah.
But somehow they managed to get her to the hospital, and that whole sequence, I thought was heartbreaking.
Yeah. It was awful.
And just one take, and it was like a stillbirth, and it was just to see her just looking at the baby the whole time, and like, why isn't he breathing? Why isn't he breathing? Oh my god.
It was brutal.
Devastating.
You just hear her like breath and her like crying, and she's like, what? Why is it breathing?
And then that just comes down to the sound design. I thought was fantastic. Yeah. Like you could just hear her like heartbeat and like breathing kind of thing, which I thought was really good.
And also just the way they were handling the baby was like traumatizing.
Yes.
It was so scary when they're like giving it CPR and they're like pushing down so hard.
Yeah, I've done CPR courses. It's not fun.
Yeah.
Aren't you guys glad that you're women, you get to have birth? It's very exciting, right? Especially after seeing this film.
That's like frightening. That movie is birth control.
Yes.
Oh.
The other sequence I thought was fantastic, again, done as a one take, was on the beach. And again, the sound design.
Yeah.
The sound of the waves
Brilliant.
was terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh, I was
so
freaking out.
scary. I was like, I'm never going swimming in the ocean again.
Yeah.
Ever.
It's like on the level of like Jaws. Of like, I'm never going to the beach.
I think it's scarier than Jaws because, like, at least with Jaws, you're like, is the shark really going to do that? But, like, the waves can really
Like,
take
you can
you
get
over
away
like
from
that.
the shark, but
Yeah.
the waves are, like, always there pushing you down.
And drowning's a fear of mine. So.
Terrifying.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Essentially,
And
the
that would be
mother and the
terrifying.
kids, they sort of go on this last sort of like road trip thing, and they end up going to the beach, and two of the children are in the water. I just knew instantly when the mother was like, watch the kids, and
she was like,
And
no.
you knew Cleo couldn't swim.
yeah, I was like, this is not going to end
No.
well.
Yeah.
But yeah, she ends up saving their lives. And
Oh, I really thought that they were going to be dead.
I thought
At
they
least
were going
one
to
of
die as
them.
well.
I was
I thought
like,
it was
one
going
of
to be
them
the girl.
dies.
I guess Sophia?
Sophie?
Yeah, I thought she was going to die.
I was like, yeah, I was for sure.
terrifying.
It was tense, a couple minutes.
Yes. But
And the fact that
they
it
made
was a couple minutes was just like,
just
overwhelming.
ratcheted up the tension.
Yeah.
yeah. And you're like, they're dead. They're dead.
They're legit dead.
It's going to cut and they're just going to be at a funeral or something.
That would have been devastating.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else you guys want to talk about, mention about Roma? No?
No.
I mean, there's a scene where Cleo is with
okay.
her boyfriend. I don't remember his name.
Lover.
Boy
Her lover, the guy who knocks her up, and I guess maybe they're at like his apartment or something, and like the scene's not going to be good because it just starts off with a shot of his naked butt, and he's reaching down to like grab, I guess, like the shower curtain rod,
yeah.
and he ends up like practicing his martial arts moves fully naked. It's a very long scene of just full frontal that nobody asked for,
He's,
especially
like,
myself.
spinning it around
Yeah.
And like
you know.
she did great reactions to it because she was sort of like embarrassed
Yeah.
and laughing and like, what did she say? Like, do you practice a lot or
You
something?
practice
Yeah.
every day?
And
Yeah.
he was like, yes, I do.
And it was
She's
just
like, okay.
so awkward to see. I mean, like him practicing makes sense. I just thought it was so weird that he was full frontal for so long.
Yeah.
It was very weird, but at the same time, it kind of showed his character. Like,
Yes.
he's very, like, egotistical.
Yeah.
Right? Very self-centered.
Yeah.
You know?
But I wasn't expecting him to be so rude when she goes
He
and
was
sees him.
Yeah, that
awful.
was fucked. That was fucked. How rude
And he
was
says
that?
that he's going to kill her or something if he sees her again. He
Yeah,
says
Yeah,
that?
he said
Chill,
he'd like
bro.
beat the crap out of her
Yeah.
basically, and the little one, because she's like, the little one is yours, and he's like, you say that again and I'll beat the crap out of you, basically.
Yeah.
Both of you. And it's like, this is
That's fucked.
brutal.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's that. That's a good warning for you to know. You're getting a long scene of some nude martial
fun.
arts work.
It's fun.
If you're into it,
It's funny. It's funny.
maybe that's your thing.
Well, Victoria, you mentioned a scene that you really liked. The sort of movie theater.
Oh,
sequence.
yes. Yeah.
What do you like about that?
We were in this, like, old-timey theater.
Princess of Wales.
And it's very, like, ornate and, like, the pillars and stuff are all crazy and, like, done up.
Mhm.
And there's a scene in the movie where they're also sitting in a movie theater, and the movie theater is like the Princess of Wales, and it was like, it took
It's
me back. It
weird.
was,
Think
like,
of that.
weird. I was, like, didn't know where I was. I didn't know if I was in that movie
We
theater
were
or, like...
in the movie.
Yeah.
We were in the
It was
movie.
it was so weird.
Yeah, I
loved
think it was the perspective of the shot.
Yeah.
It was the same angle that we were sitting
that we
at.
were sitting in.
I think if
That's
we were
true.
sitting in the balcony, we wouldn't have the same effect.
No.
But the fact that we were sitting on the,
Yeah, like,
middle
low.
right of the theater on
Yeah.
the orchestra level, and the characters kind of at the back, it kind of was this very weird perspective.
It was like we were watching them like make out or whatever right in front of us.
Yeah.
And
Bizarre.
then he like gets up and leaves, and I was like,
I knew
This
he
is
was
so
never
weird.
coming back.
no,
Yeah, devastating.
I knew.
Men,
the worst. They're trash.
literally the worst.
Except Sebastian Stan.
Well, I think on that note, that'll end our review for Roma. Check it out on Netflix when it comes out. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Up Real Late Podcast. Where can people find you?
On Instagram at Victoria Hulse.
Sick.
Yeah.
Steph, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Stephanie Zogus and on Instagram at Steph Zogus.
You can find myself, Scott, on Letterboxd at Uphill Scott. And yeah, guys, if you enjoy this video, leave a like on it, leave a comment below in the comment section, and of course, subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, keep it real.